This is the Hold Report for Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. The Lost Europe. Instead of taking the lead in defending freedom worldwide, Europe looks lost trying to convince the U.S. president to change. But he will not change. President Trump loves who he is, and he says he loves Europe, but he will not listen to this kind of Europe. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, shortly before U.S. envoys bypassed him to schedule peace talks with Putin. The market is no longer listening to earnings calls, it is listening to the infant king. Intel sits at $54.04, up a staggering 132.47% in the past 6 months. This valuation is mathematically impossible in a free market. Intel has missed every major chip cycle of the decade and remains technically inferior to TSMC, but we are no longer in a free market. We are in a patronage market. Intel is trading at a premium because Donald John Trump announced a 10% government stake, forcing patriotic capital from SoftBank and Nvidia to follow suit. Investors have correctly identified that in 2026, competence is optional, but state protection is the ultimate asset. This patronage premium explains why the U.S. economy expanded at a revised 4.4% in the third quarter, while consumer sentiment remains in the gutter. The growth is artificial, driven almost entirely by massive AI capital expenditures that circulate within the Mag 7 ecosystem. In the first half of 2025 alone, AI-related capex contributed to almost all of the GDP, creating a statistical boom that exists only on corporate balance sheets. The average consumer feels disconnected because they are paying the costs of the transition, higher energy bills, displaced entry-level jobs, while the promised productivity gains are still a decade away. The economic uncertainty and the rapid evolution of AI have already translated into disastrous consequences for young people in the short term. It's a K-shaped recovery where the top arm is a GPU and the bottom arm is a layoff notice. In tech news, Elon Musk pushed the release of Tesla's Optimus robot to 2027, admitting engineers still can't get the hands to work. A perfect metaphor for a hype economy that can't quite grasp reality. Apple and Google are retreating into a defensive alliance to navigate the AI minefield cautiously, while Amazon launches an AI assistant to parse medical records. While Donald John opted out of European tariffs today, he simultaneously threatened retaliation if allies sell U.S. assets. The economic posturing is permanent. Meanwhile, continuing the war on the environment, the administration is expediting deep-sea mining permits to dredge the ocean floor for critical minerals. In a textbook display of gaslighting, Donald John is suing JPMorgan Chase for debanking him, a frivolous retaliation that ignores the basic reality that compliance departments are legally obligated to flag convicted felons, sexual abusers, and aspiring insurrectionists as toxic assets. It is a lawsuit born of profound insecurity, attempting to use the courts to force private institutions to ignore his rap sheet to soothe his ego, establishing a new precedent where the only risk metric that matters is saying no to baby Donald. The relief rally today is built on a dangerous assumption that the Greenland framework represents a return to normalcy. It does not. We have moved from a market of discovery to a market of decree. If you want to know what a stock is worth, don't just look at the P/E ratio. Look at the guest list for the White House dinner. In the patronage economy, you don't buy the best company. You buy the one Donald John has promised not to kill. Just be sure to check behind his back for any crossed fingers.